Hello everyone, Andrew here for Dark Shark Capital, and welcome to the first episode of This Week in Goldmaking. We're going to start by taking a look at the items that I've chose to start tracking to give us a little bit of an overview of the World of Warcraft market at large. As you can see, we'll start with the token prices. That seemed like the most obvious thing to take a look at, and no surprises anywhere. The prices of tokens have gone up significantly since the beginning of the year, and they are probably going to continue to rise. I mean, uh, for the past month or week or so, they've gone down a tad, but as you can see on the slide here, but yeah, long term, these things are definitely going up. I've also included some Legion materials, the kind of high volume one, Starlight Rose, because it's used in everything. Felslate is the kind of more higher quality or of the two. Shalderai Silks, that's the cloth for the expansion, and I don't know anything about leatherworking, so I just picked Stonehide Leather. But as I'm sure that even if you looked at all the other herbs and leather things, that you would also notice that, as you can see here, the price has been going down since the beginning of the year and is continuing to go down. I think we're gonna see that happening until the new expansion hits. That's sort of just how things work with these current expansion materials. I've also included the price of Ghost Iron ore. These prices, by the way, they're all, as you can see, is the U.S. region average. I can probably look at the European region average at some point as well, but the, this chart here is really intended to give you kind of a general overview of sort of broad economic trends, not to kind of give some uh, esoteric insight into what material you should be buying as an investment. No, this is more like a broad overview kind of thing. You want to just have a sense for what's going on. So Ghost Iron ore, in my opinion, is something that does have a bit of a pulse on market trends. It's used for all kinds of different stuff, Sky Golems, all the Jarred stuff. It's big in Sunstone Panthers, blacksmithing transmog for Mr. Pandaria. The list, there's a large amount of stuff that it's used for. So it's still in high demand, kind of like how these current materials are. And yeah, so as you can see, the year to date on that's it's up 34% or across the U.S. region. So that's it's looking pretty good. We'll see how these go because I'm going to be tracking these week to week, and we'll see if things change. And of course, if you want to see some more details going beyond just what I've got here, you can always look these items up on the Undermine Journal or Trade Skill Master, and you can also see the prices for your realm and all the good stuff. And then lastly, I've also included the actual stock price of Activision Blizzard. That's the ATVI is the ticker symbol for them. And while it doesn't have any real economic bearing on gold in the game, I do think it's something worthwhile to keep track of, and it's relevant to my interests. And I'm making this show, so we're going to keep track of it and see how it goes. I'd love to hear any feedback that anyone has about other items, other things to track. Starting to think about this a little bit, and there's actually a lot of potential to be making sort of like WoW gold making indices. If you're familiar at all with the traditional stock market, you'll know what a stock index is. I can think of making an index for TCG player pets and mounts, current materials, popular transmog things, all kinds of stuff. So if you have any ideas or stuff you'd like to see, let me know, and I can start keeping track of stuff. We can see some interesting numbers. All right, so moving on, I wanted to share with everyone an interesting little gold making opportunity that I found. It's regarding a blacksmithing plan, actually, so the recipe as opposed to the actual item itself. And one thing to note that on this, so that you don't get too crazy excited, the sword that you make with it is actually bind up pickup. I didn't realize this until I'd actually learned the recipe, which, as it turns out, isn't that big of a deal, as you'll see in a moment. But just something to keep in mind. U.S. mean price just under 50,000 gold, so this is a pretty worthwhile item. If I were to do the math on that, you could definitely farm these. You could probably make 1,000,000 gold an hour, quote unquote, if you're going simply by like item value. I haven't done all the exact math on it, but you'll see, like, if one of these items is worth 50,000 gold, you could easily make just obscene amounts of item value. However, it requires you to be a blacksmith, at least 290, and it requires you to have not completed the quest to get this item before. And so let's just actually go over here to my warrior real quick and take a look at what I'm talking about. So I'm at the Stratholme instance in the Eastern Plaguelands. This is at the service entrance, which is actually important these days because the undead and the living side of Stratholme have been separated, which is kind of an unfortunate thing in my opinion, but that's a discussion for another time. So you want to come into the instance, and you can, I guess you can kill these things and loot them if you want, and whatever. And inside the little chapel here are all the main quest givers. You're going to want to talk to this guy, the little dwarf in the corner. He's got the quest Weapons for War. You're going to go ahead and accept this. This is going to be the quest to go kill a quest mob over later in the instance. So let's go ahead and make our way over. It'll just take a moment. And I could have started a timer, but I'm sure you can look at the timer on the YouTube video just how quickly this took, and you can do your math from there. But basically, yeah, you come over here, and you just want to click on these plans, and boom, there you go. Now you have the weapon. You can either kill this guy or not kill this guy. It really actually doesn't matter at all, because all you're going to do is right-click, or I guess you got to open the quest details and abandon the quest. Lo and behold, the plans are still there. So yeah, as you can see, this could be incredibly lucrative. Say it takes you less than 10 minutes to do one of these runs, right? Like you're easily going to get 10 of these runs per reset per hour. Do it across 2 or 3 different tunes. You could be making upwards of 1.5, 2 million gold item value if you're really excessive about it. But now, obviously, these plans aren't going to be selling very often. I farmed up 4 of them a while back when I discovered this, and have had them listed on the auction house. I haven't sold anything yet. It's been about a couple weeks, I believe. So this is just kind of one of those things where you go, spend half an hour, stock up on a bunch, and then have a TSM operation that just throws them up every time you do your posts, and maybe make a sale every once in a while. Moving on now, I've got a couple of news items that I just want to bring to everyone's attention and call out. So first one, and this is first because it's very exciting. This is one of my favorite websites. It's by an individual named Cruthine, and he or she or they or whomever it is has made this wonderful website. Very simple, very straightforward. It's very similar to the Simple Armory website, if you're familiar with that at all. And all you do is you go in here, you type your realm, you type a character's name, and you look them up, and it gives you this awesome printout of all the recipes in the game that you could acquire, and which ones you have acquired, and if you hover over them, it'll tell you like where to go to get these things. And they're of course also, as you can see, categorized into different places, so it's very easy to sort of figure out good places to go farm if you want to like farm up some recipes. And it was recently updated. I believe it was actually today, as of the day I'm recording this. Caruthine put out a Twitter message, as you can see, I screen capped it here, saying that he or she, whoever it is, I don't know, has finally updated it for Legion, which is fantastic because this, as noted, hasn't been updated in a couple years. It's still been so incredibly useful even without the Legion stuff, especially for my purposes of trying to farm up all these old transmog recipes. But yeah, and it's even got the ranks for the various Legion patterns as well, so you can kind of figure out where you need to go to up your ranks as well. Kind of cool, pretty cool. So yeah, definitely check this out. Give this person a follow on Twitter if you're into Twitter, because they absolutely deserve all the recognition in the world. This is literally my favorite website right now, and it has been for a while. Other piece of news I wanted to bring up, I'm not sure if it's what happened within the past week or not. I believe it was probably reset last Tuesday, but a nerf to class trials and the gold making method that a lot of people had been using to effectively circumvent the once per character restriction on Dark Moon Fair ticket turn-ins. If you want to see more about how the process worked, you can click and go to this first video that Reckles did, explaining the methodology, and went into a discussion about whether or not it's ethical or not. It was actually the reset after he put this video out is when they nerfed this, so just saying. Then another video here from Sharkin 808 announcing the the news of the nerf and doing a bit of discussion on it as well. Check out both those videos, very good. We'll answer any questions you have. I never did any of this myself personally. The Dark Moon Fair is somewhat of a mystery to me still. Haven't explored it in its entirety. I've picked up a few of those replica pieces that was what was making people so much money using this method here and there to try and flip, but again, it's very much on the periphery of my understanding. So I'm not really the expert, but I did want to bring it to the attention and point you to some resources if you wanted some more information. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. So that's been the week in gold making. Hoping to do these every Monday before the reset as kind of a preparation for the week ahead in the gold making world. If you'd like to engage with me more, you can of course leave a comment on the YouTube video. I'm more than happy to respond there. At DarkShoreCap is my Twitter handle. That's probably the best place to reach me. And if you want to get old-fashioned, you can send me an email too, with questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, any of the like. Emails up there, darkshorecapital@gmail.com. That'll do it for me. Again, my name is Andrew. This presentation has been brought to you by Darkshore Capital, and good luck with your gold making.